This is a short and sweet video on the standards of public space. Leafy green residential streets, neighborhood alleys, green trees in green spaces. This is the public space. Public space is all publicly owned property between the property lines on a street, park, or other public property. This includes roadways, tree spaces, sidewalks, or parking between the property lines.
Hello, my name is Elliot Garrett. I'm the Public Space Permit Manager in the Public Space Regulation Division here at DDOT. We are the responsible parties for issuing permits for private users in public space. We issue two types of permits. One permit is a construction permit, and the other permit is an occupancy permit. There are several regulations that govern how we issue permits. One of them is DCMR Title 24 and portions of DCMR Title 18. Today, we're going to be talking about how do we issue permits for fixtures in public space, driveways in public space, as well as some of the most hot topic items, which is also overheight fences and fences in public space.
The District of Columbia's public space is a very valuable asset. District residents can permit these spaces for any number of reasons by approaching PSRD to permit the space for a period of time and for a cost.
When applying for permits, there are several things that the applicant should be aware of when submitting their application. One is the District Department of Transportation Standards and Specifications, the DCMR, Title 24 and 18, the MUTCD, as well as the Public Realm Design Manual. These are the tools that applicants should use in submitting a successful application. Now, let's talk about fixtures. Fixtures in public space are some of the things that a lot of people think that, hey, I have a public space in my area and I want to add something to it. Fixtures can be from a fence, a wall, a bench, a statue, and things of that nature. When submitting the application for a fixture, it's very important that the applicant apply for a construction permit. They must also understand that those fixtures are considered permanent changes to public space, and they will be routed to the Public Space Committee to review and approve accordingly. Another thing that people also look at, and that also goes to the Public Space Committee, is driveways. A lot of people think that, hey, I have an area in front of my home, and I want to put a driveway in, which will consist of a curb cut as well. Those things are approved by the Public Space Committee. Now, when submitting an application for the driveway and a curb cut, it's very important to pay attention to DDOT standard specifications in the Public Realm Design. They will dictate to you where they can go, how wide they can be, and what must be utilized in submitting that application. Most often, when evaluating those applications, we look at and see how can an applicant take their personal vehicle from public space onto private property. Most often, those regulations can be found in DDOT, in Title 24, but also they're also governed by DCRA. So it's very important for the applicant to understand how both of these agencies play a role in approving a curb cut, driveway, and also taking your personal vehicle onto private property. Driveways are a very contentious area. People always say, well, if I have a curb cut, then I won't have to park on the street. In evaluating the application that goes to the Public Space Committee, they also go to the ANC. The ANC will weigh in on if this is a good location and how would it impact the community. We always ask applicants to talk to your ANC as you submit your application, because the more they weigh in and approve of that, it's a good thing to have when going before the Public Space Committee to offer and advise that you really want this asset. Another thing that's a lot of people ask for in public space is I want to have a fence in my front yard, or I want to have a fence in my side yard. There's a lot of people in the district know that most of the property in the front of their yard and at the rear of their property is considered public space. It's called the public parking area. It's the area that's presented behind the sidewalk. Most often, people believe that that's their land. actually is public spaces dedicated to green space. Now, in DC Title 24, it states that the occupant abutting the public space is responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of that public parking area. And they are allowed to install fencing in a way to maintain that area. Now, Title 24 says, in order to install a fence in public space, one, it has to be no more than 42 inches high, and it has to be 50% open at all times. That means that, hey, if I want to install a privacy fence, can I do so? You can apply for an application to do so, and they will go to the Public Space Committee. A privacy fence is a fence that typically is about 5 to 6 feet of height and is closed. Most often, those fences are not approved in public space. But again, if it's 42 inches high and it's 50% open, they meet the DDOT standard specifications, and they will go through regular course of application. But if you want to apply for fences over that, you will have to do so by applying for a construction permit. Keep in mind, fences can also go on top of retaining walls. However, the regulations are very clear. If you apply for a fence that's on top of a retaining wall, that the fence can be 42 inches high, but that's at the grade that's presented behind that retaining wall. That's how you apply for and apply the installation of fences in public space.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the short and sweet videos about public space standards. For more information, please contact PSRD at 202-442-4670.